December 23rd, 1944, 11:47 at night. Bastogne, Belgium. Corporal Danny Walsh is dying on a wooden stretcher in a frozen cellar, both femoral arteries severed by mortar shrapnel. Blood pools beneath him steaming in the cold air like breath from a dying animal. Private First Class Thomas Brennan kneels beside him, 22 years old, hands black with someone else's blood. He checks Walsh's pulse. 145 beats per minute. Weak, thready. The kind of pulse that stops. Tom has one empty plasma bag. Morphine, gauze. Nothing that matters. Walsh's eyes find him. Still conscious. Still terrified. Am I going to die? Tom doesn't answer. Because the answer is yes. 12 minutes, maybe 15 if Walsh is lucky. But luck ran out in Bastogne 3 days ago. Tom looks at the last empty supply crate in the corner, then at a metal jug beside it, filled with reddish-brown liquid no one is supposed to use. Something he mixed himself from chemicals and powder and desperate hope. Sergeant Frank Delacroix emerges from the shadows, 29 years old, Cajun from Louisiana, Tom's closest friend in this frozen hell. Tom, that's suicide. Tom stares at the jug, then back at Walsh. So is this. He stands, walks to the corner, fills a pressure bag with the homemade solution. His hands don't shake. They should. But exhaustion has burned through fear and left only purpose. Walsh watches him approach with the bag. What is that? Tom inserts the IV catheter. Doesn't answer the question. Because he doesn't know if this will save Walsh or kill him faster. Science and desperation mixed in a metal jug. Either a miracle or murder. He opens the line. The red liquid begins flowing into Walsh's vein. Everyone in the cellar stops. Watches. Waits. Time freezes. Or maybe time is all they have left. The question hangs in the cold air like smoke. Will Danny Walsh live or die? And if he lives, what did Tom just put into his blood? 4 hours earlier, the answers didn't matter. 4 hours earlier, Tom still believed in rules. Rewind to 1945 hours. Same day, same cellar. German 88mm artillery opens up on the eastern perimeter. The first shell hits 200 yards away. Sound arrives before comprehension. A scream of air, then the world breaks. The second shell hits 100 yards out. Closer. The third shell hits the building next to the aid station. Concussion wave blows through the cellar. Candles extinguish. Someone screams. Then, everyone is screaming. Wounded pour in through the entrance, not carried on stretchers, dragged. Some crawl. Some walk holding their own intestines. The smell hits first. Copper and cordite and something worse. The smell of bodies opened. 27 casualties in 15 minutes. Tom counts them as they arrive. 12 critical. Won't survive without blood. 10 serious. Might survive with aggressive treatment. 5 moderate. Will probably survive. Standard triage protocol says save the 10 serious and 5 moderate. Let the 12 critical die. Harsh mathematics. Brutal efficiency. The arithmetic of war. Tom checks his medical supplies. Whole blood. 0 units. Plasma. 0 units. Saline. Adequate. But saline doesn't carry oxygen. Saline replaces volume, but lets the brain starve. Saline keeps the heart beating while the organs shut down. He has morphine. Plenty of morphine. Enough to make dying comfortable. Not enough to stop the dying. The first critical patient dies at 19:52 hours. Private Miller. Not the Miller from Ohio who died 3 days ago. Different Miller. This war has too many Millers. All of them bleeding out in Belgian cellars while medics watch and document and fail. Tom records the death in his notebook. Hemorrhagic shock. No blood available. Time of death. Next, the second critical patient dies at 20:04. Sergeant Rodriguez, 31 years old. 3 kids back in Texas. Tom knows because Rodriguez talked about them while he was still conscious. Baseball and homework and a daughter who wanted to be a doctor. Now she won't have a father. Tom records it, moves to the next patient. By 20-30 hours, 5 are dead. 7 more critical patients remain. All bleeding, all dying, all looking at Tom like he can do something. He can't. He follows the rules, uses saline, applies pressure, administers morphine, documents deaths. That's what medics do when there's no blood. Watch, record, fail. Delacroix finds him at 20:45 sitting against the stone wall, not crying, past crying, just staring at his hands. Tom, he doesn't respond. Tom, you okay? How many more, Frank? What? How many more do I have to watch? Delacroix sits beside him. Doesn't answer. Because there is no answer. The German offensive isn't stopping. The casualties aren't stopping. The bleeding isn't stopping. I keep thinking about Miller, Tom says. Not this Miller. The other one. 3 days ago. I remember. He died holding my hand. Last thing he said was, "Tell them I tried." Like he needed me to know he didn't give up. Like dying was somehow his failure. Tom looks at his hands, still stained with Rodriguez's blood. I held his hand and told him he did good. Told him to hold on. And he died anyway. Because I didn't have blood. Because I was following the rules. And the rules say, when there's no blood, people die. Tom, you can't blame yourself. Then who do I blame, Frank? The Germans, the supply convoy that didn't arrive. God, he stands, walks to the supply crates, begins searching through them, pushing aside empty plasma bags, bandage rolls, morphine syrettes. What are you looking for? Tom doesn't answer. His mind is racing backward. 3 months ago, field hospital near Caen, abandoned medical supply tent, crate of outdated training materials, 1 pamphlet, yellowed paper, dated 1938. The title, Experimental Blood Volume, Expanders, and Oxygen Transport Systems. He'd read it twice, copied the entire thing by hand into his notebook, drew diagrams he didn't fully understand, but he understood enough. The principle. If you can't replace blood, replace what blood does. Maintain pressure, carry oxygen, prevent clotting, keep them alive. The pamphlet discussed early research, plasma protein fractions, hemoglobin solutions from animal blood, oxygen-carrying compounds, none approved for human use, all theoretical, all locked in laboratories 7,000 miles away in California. Tom stops searching, stares at the back corner of the cellar, behind the supply crates, abandoned equipment from units that evacuated 2 weeks ago. 1 crate, marked with faded stencil Veterinary Corps, Mobile Animal Clinic 47. He'd seen it before, ignored it. Medics treat people, not horses. Veterinary supplies are someone else's problem. But now, right now, maybe veterinary supplies are the answer. Tom pulls the crate forward, opens it. Inside, bottles, powders, instruments sized for animals. And there, 3rd container from the left, label stabilized bovine hemoglobin. For veterinary use only, not for human administration. He lifts the container, holds it up to the candlelight, reads the label 3 times. Delacroix appears beside him. Tom, what is that? Hemoglobin from cows. Cow blood. Purified hemoglobin. It's different. Different how? Tom sets the container down, opens his notebook, flips to the pages where he copied the pamphlet. Diagrams of molecular structures, chemical formulas, theoretical dosing calculations. Hemoglobin carries oxygen. Doesn't matter if it comes from human blood or animal blood. The molecule works the same way. Binds oxygen in the lungs. Releases it in the tissues. Tom, that label says not for human use. Everything in this war says not for human use. Mortars, mines, bullets. We use them anyway. That's different. Is it? Tom looks back at the wounded. 7 critical patients, all dying, all beyond saline, all watching him with eyes that still hope. Frank, what's the worst that happens? I try this, and it kills them. Yeah, they're already dying. Delacroix stares at him. Long silence, the kind of silence that precedes decisions that change everything. What do you need? Tom turns back to the crate, begins pulling out supplies. Bovine hemoglobin, sodium citrate, dextrose powder, empty IV bags, surgical gauze, a tin coffee strainer someone left behind. Help me heat water. They work in the corner, away from the other medics. Tom measures saline into a steel pot, 500 milliliters, sets it over a small burner, waits for it to reach body temperature. 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 Fahrenheit, the temperature of life. While it heats, he measures out the other components. 2 packets of dextrose, dissolved in the warming saline. 1 packet of expired plasma protein powder, stirred until the solution clears. Then the critical part. 15 grams of bovine hemoglobin. He measures it 3 times. Too much risk of toxicity, kidney damage, system shock. Too little insufficient oxygen carrying capacity. Useless. He adds it slowly to the mixture. The color changes, clear to pink to reddish brown. Like blood, but not blood. Like hope, but not hope. Like something between medicine and murder. Delacroix watches the mixture darken. Tom, are you sure about this? No. Then why are you doing it? Tom adds sodium citrate, anticoagulant, prevents the solution from clotting in the veins. Without it, the treatment becomes a death sentence. With it, maybe a chance. Because I can't watch another Miller die while I do nothing. He crushes vitamin C tablets, 10 of them, adds them to the mixture, ascorbic acid, antioxidant, protects the hemoglobin from breaking down too fast in the bloodstream. Another theory, another guess, another prayer disguised as science. The solution is ready. Cloudy, filled with protein debris, undissolved particles that could kill as easily as cure. Tom stretches surgical gauze across the coffee strainer, pours the solution through. Once, twice, 3 times. Each pass the liquid clears slightly, but never fully, never perfectly. Just good enough, or not good enough. He won't know until someone lives or dies. He fills a pressure bag with 500 milliliters, holds it up to the candlelight. The color is dull crimson, like blood that's been sitting too long. Like something that shouldn't go inside a human body, but might save one anyway. What are we calling this? Delacroix asks. Tom doesn't have a name for it. It's not blood. It's not plasma. It's something improvised, something desperate, something that exists in the space between regulation and necessity. Hope, he finally says. We're calling it hope. At 21:15 hours, a truck arrives with another convoy of wounded. Among them, Private Eddie Morrison, 19 years old, abdominal shrapnel, femoral artery severed, lost at least 50% of blood volume, face gray, pulse 140, breathing 28 per minute. The medic who carried him in, "This is Morrison. He's got maybe 15 minutes. Tom checks his vitals. Critical. Beyond critical. The kind of wounds that require immediate transfusion or immediate death. He looks at the pressure bag filled with reddish-brown liquid, then back at Morrison. 19 years old. Looks like someone's little brother. Probably is someone's little brother. Morrison's eyes open. Find Tom's face. Mom. Tell Mom I tried. That phrase. The same phrase Miller said 3 days ago. Tell them I tried. Like dying is somehow giving up. Like bleeding out from severed arteries is a failure of will. Tom makes his decision. He fills a pressure bag with 100 milliliters of the substitute. His hands move on instinct. Insert catheter into Morrison's arm. Connect the line. Open the valve. Morrison's eyes flutter. Barely conscious. Too far gone to ask questions. Too close to death to care. Tom opens the line. The reddish-brown liquid flows into Morrison's vein. Gravity and pressure pushing hope into a dying body. Delacroix stands beside him. Both men watch Morrison's face, waiting, praying. 21:16 hours. Minute 1. No change. Morrison's pulse hammers at 140 beats per minute. Weak, irregular. His breathing stays shallow. 28 breaths per minute. Fast, panicked. Tom checks the IV line, flowing properly. The solution enters Morrison's bloodstream. What happens next is between chemistry and God. 21:17 hours. Minute 2. Still no change. Pulse 138. Skin remains gray. The color of concrete. Morrison's eyes stay closed. Private Jenkins appears. Tom, we should stop. Whatever that is, it's not working. Tom doesn't turn. Give it time. We don't have time. Switch to saline. Saline won't save him. Jenkins steps back, watching a fellow medic make decisions that could mean court-martial or miracle. 21:18 hours. Minute 3. Morrison's pulse drops. 135. Then 132. Tom's stomach drops with it. Is that stabilization or dying? Tom's internal voice screams. You're killing him. Pull the line. Stop this madness. But his hands stay still. Because saline is surrender. Morrison's skin stays gray. No pink flush. Just a dying kid and a medic who might be murdering him. 21:19 hours. Minute 4. Pulse 128. Breathing unchanged. Morrison's lips are blue. His fingernails are blue. The color of oxygen starvation. Delacroix whispers. Tom, maybe Jenkins is right. 1 more minute. Tom's mind races through worst cases. Wrong concentration. Immune reaction. Kidney failure. All the ways this could go catastrophically wrong. 21:20 hours. Minute 5. Morrison's breathing changes. Not dramatic, barely noticeable. But there. 28 breaths per minute becomes 26. Then 24. Slower. Deeper. Pulse drops to 122. Still fast. Still weak. But steady. Then Morrison's skin shifts. Not gray to pink. Just gray to slightly less gray. Like color remembering how to exist. Delacroix sees it. Tom, his hands. Morrison's fingernails. Still blue, but lighter. Tom's heart pounds. This might actually work. 21:21 hours. Minute 6. Morrison's breathing slows to 20. Then 18. Each breath pulls deeper. Extracting oxygen. Delivering it to tissues. His pulse drops to 115. Stronger. Tom feels it in Morrison's wrist. Not the thready whisper of dying. The solid thump of life. Color floods Morrison's face. Not movie pink. Just the faint flush of blood doing its job. Morrison's eyes open, blink, focus on Tom. Cold. I'm so cold. Tom grabs blankets, piles them on Morrison, checks vitals. Pulse 115 strong. Blood pressure 85/60. Breathing 18 regular. Morrison shivers. Where am I? Delacroix laughs, pure relief. You're alive, Morrison. Tom pulls out his notebook, hands shaking. He writes, 21:15 hours. Morrison E., age 19. Administered 100 milliliter substitute. Response time 6 minutes. Pulse 115. Blood pressure 85/60. Patient stabilized. Then 4 more words. It worked. He looks at Delacroix. Frank, it actually worked. Delacroix glances at another stretcher where Corporal Walsh, treated an hour earlier, sleeps under blankets. Pulse steady, breathing regular. 2 lives saved in 1 night. By 23:30 hours, 2 more critical patients arrive. He looks at Delacroix. Frank, it actually worked. By 23:30 hours, 2 more critical patients arrive. Both severe hemorrhage. Tom administers the substitute. 75 milliliters each. First patient stabilizes in 8 minutes. Second takes 12. Both survive. At midnight, Tom has treated 4 patients, 4 survivals, 0 deaths. But 4 is not proof. 4 is coincidence. 4 is not enough to know if this works or if he's been impossibly lucky. Jenkins sits beside Tom. What are you calling it? Tom considers. It's not blood, not plasma, just something born from desperation and chemistry. Hope? We're calling it hope. 15 kilometers south in a German field hospital, Oberst Klaus Werner sits at his desk, 47 years old. Wehrmacht medical intelligence officer, doctor first, soldier second. Casualty reports spread before him. Numbers that refuse to make sense. American evacuation rate from Bastogne, December 16th through 20th, 58%, normal. December 21st through 23rd, 78%. Werner circles the number with red pencil. 78% despite no supply convoys, despite bombardment, despite encirclement. He calls his aide. Hauptmann Schultz enters. Explain this. Werner points to the number. Schultz studies the reports. Perhaps supplies we didn't detect. Our lines are intact. Nothing broke through. Airdrops. Weather has grounded aircraft for 3 days. Werner circles Bastogne on the map. Heavy pressure. Something changed. Their wounded are surviving at impossible rates. Orders Herr Oberst. Interview every prisoner from Bastogne. Find out what they have that we don't. Schultz leaves. Werner sits alone, staring at numbers that whisper secrets. 20% higher survival. 20% more enemies living. Something in Bastogne is keeping Americans alive, and Werner needs to identify it. Back in the cellar, dawn filters through cracks. December 24th, Christmas Eve morning. Captain Theodore Reynolds arrives at noon. Combat surgeon, 42 years old. Saw the First War. Believes only in evidence. He examines Morrison. Then the 3 others treated overnight. Checks charts. Vitals. Everything. Finally approaches Tom. These men should be dead, Private. Tom stands at attention. Yes, sir. Blood loss this severe. No transfusion. Their survival is statistically impossible. Yes, sir. Reynolds extends his hand. Show me what you used. Tom hesitates, then surrenders his notebook. Everything documented. Evidence of genius or crime. Reynolds studies the pages. Formula. Dosages. Response times. Finally looks up. This is unauthorized human experimentation, Private. Tom's stomach drops. Reynolds continues. It's also the most important field innovation I've seen in 25 years of medicine. He closes the notebook, hands it back. Keep using it. Document everything. Every dose. Every outcome. Every complication. Tom stammers. Sir, the regulations. To hell with regulations. Men are dying. You found something that works. Use it. Reynolds turns to leave. Stops, looks back. But private. If even one patient dies from complications related to your treatment, I will personally ensure you face a court-martial. Understood. Yes, sir. Good. Carry on. Reynolds walks out into the cold morning. Tom stands motionless. Permission granted. Sort of. Permission with a knife edge. Save lives or face charges. Delacroix approaches. So what now? Tom looks at the metal jug, at Morrison sleeping peacefully under blankets, at the notebook filled with numbers that might save hundreds or condemn one. Now we save as many as we can and pray we don't kill anyone in the process. He opens his notebook, begins preparing instructions for other medics, how to mix it, how to dose it, how to recognize complications. By 1400 hours, 3 more medics know the formula. By evening 6, the substitute is spreading, quietly, unofficially, through whispers and handwritten notes and desperate hope. No one calls it medicine. No one calls it approved. They just call it the only thing standing between their patients and death. And for now, that's enough. Oberst Werner sits in his office as encrypted radio traffic arrives. Intercepted American transmission. Partial. Garbled. But enough. Bastogne aid station. Unusual survival rates. Unauthorized treatment. Medical Corps investigating. Werner reads it 3 times. Circles key phrases. Unauthorized treatment. Medical Corps investigating. The Americans don't know either. Their own command is confused. Whatever is saving lives in Bastogne isn't official, not planned, not distributed. It's improvised, field created, born from desperation. Werner calls Hauptmann Schultz. Get me prisoner interrogation reports. Last 48 hours, anyone captured near Bastogne, any mention of medical treatment. Schultz returns with files. Werner reads. Most reports standard, plasma, morphine, saline, nothing unusual. Then 1 report. Captured medic. Different unit. Question, your wounded survive at higher rates. How? Answer, I don't know. Some units have something. Rumors. Read something. Type R. Werner underlines type R. He writes in his log, Assessment Americans developed field expedient blood substitute. Localized to Bastogne, not official. Composition unknown. Effectiveness significant. He seals the report. Marks it for Berlin. The report will arrive 3 weeks later. Will be filed. Never acted upon. Lost when Soviets enter Berlin in April. German intelligence identified the breakthrough, but never captured it. Never understood it. Tom's innovation remains invisible. Christmas morning, 0400 hours. German artillery resumes. Heavier. Shells scream overhead. Impact. Explosion. 0415. Direct hit on adjacent building. Concussion blows through cellar. Candles extinguish. Ceiling cracks. Dust fills air. Flashlights only. Beams cutting through darkness. 0420. The wounded arrive. Dragged. Stumbling, crawling, 27 casualties in 15 minutes, 15 critical, 8 serious, 4 moderate. Tom does rapid triage, 15 red tags, 15 men needing blood, 15 men regulations can't save. He has 400 milliliter substitute remaining. Enough for 4 patients, maybe 5, save 4. Watch 11 die, unless he makes more. Fast. Under fire. Delacroix appears. I'll start boiling water. Tom pulls out supplies. Hemoglobin powder running low. Protein, citrate, vitamin C. They work in corner. Mixing. Filtering. Racing death. 0440. Major Ashford arrives. Rushed from headquarters. Enters cellar. Sees carnage. Blood. Bodies. Medics overwhelmed. Then sees Tom preparing substitute. Reddish-brown liquid. Defiance in motion. Private Brennan. Tom keeps filtering. Sir. What are you doing, treating patients, sir? With that, Ashford points at Jug. Yes, sir. I gave you direct order to cease. I know, sir. A soldier dies on stretcher 3 feet away. Private Kowalski, 22, Chicago. Bled out. His hand falls off stretcher edge. Hits stone floor. Sound echoes. Another dies. Corporal Thompson. Massive trauma. Dies anyway. Ashford watches. Face contorted. Rage and helplessness fighting. Medic runs past. Major, we need help. Overwhelmed. Ashford looks at dying. At Tom. At Jug. An impossible choice between regulations and reality. Tom stands. Faces Ashford. Sir, 15 men critical. I can save maybe 8. Maybe 10. Or follow your order and watch all 15 die. You don't have authority. Then court-martial me tomorrow, sir. Tonight I'm saving lives. Tom turns away. Begins filling pressure bags. Prioritizing patients. Brutal calculus of triage. Ashford stands frozen. Could stop this. Could order restraint. Could enforce regulations with force. But he's watching patients die. Remembering Tobruk. Remembering 12 men screaming. Remembering being 26 and wrong. Delacroix approaches. Sir, we need your help. Ashford looks at him. What? We're overwhelmed. We need every medic, including you, sir. Ashford stares, then at Tom treating patient, then at his own hands. Hands that save lives or enforce regulations. Not both, he decides. Ashford removes jacket, rolls sleeves, walks to Tom. Show me the dosing protocol. Tom looks up, stunned. Sir, if we're doing this, we do it right. Show me the goddamn protocol. Tom's hands shake. Major, if you help. I'll be court-martialed alongside you. Now show me how much to give. Tom opens notebook, shows dosing chart, weight calculations, response times, contraindications. Ashford studies it. Harvard Mind Analyzing Field Medicine. You calculated these yourself? Yes, sir. Based on what? Veterinary protocols, research papers, trial and error. Ashford looks at Tom differently. Not insubordinate private, peer, problem solver. Sound methodology private. Where did you learn pharmacological calculations? Taught myself, sir. Read everything I could find. They work together. Ashford administers substitute. Tom prepares batches. Delacroix and Jenkins support. Hours pass. Rhythm of war medicine. Assess. Treat. Document. Next patient. Ashford and Tom develop shorthand. Patient weight. Blood loss. Dosage. Response time. No rank now. Just 2 medics fighting death. 0600. Dawn filters through cracks. Artillery stopped. Wounded stop arriving. Final count 27 casualties. 19 receive substitute. 8 receive saline. Results 18 of 19 with substitute survived. 7 of 8 with saline survived. Total 25 of 27. Standard survival rate without blood 45%. Should have lost 12. Lost 2. Ashford sits on ammunition crate. Exhausted. Uniform blood-stained, face gray. He reviews Tom's documentation, patient by patient, vitals, response times, complications. Private, this record-keeping is meticulous. Thank you, sir. This isn't reckless work. This is clinical grade. Tom silent. Doesn't know response. Praise from man who threatened court-martial hours ago. Ashford flips pages, studies formulas, calculations. You adapted veterinary protocols, calculated weight dosing, noted complications. Where did you learn this? Medical journals, sir. Training manuals. Veterinary texts. Adapted what I found. Ashford looks up. You adapted them. Closes notebook. Hands it back. Private Brennan, do you understand what you've done? Violated regulations, sir. Accept full responsibility. No. Ashford stands. You created reproducible protocol for emergency blood substitute using field materials. This shouldn't work, but it does. Silence. Weight of recognition. I was wrong to order you to stop. Tom stares. Sir. In Tobruk Patterson used unprocessed cow blood. No understanding reactions, no filtration, no anticoagulation. That's not what you did. Ashford picks up hemoglobin container. You used purified hemoglobin, calculated dosing, proper buffering. That's not recklessness. That's innovation. Sets it down. I spent 2 years making sure Tobruk never happened again. Obsessed with regulations. Thought following rules meant protecting people. But last night I realized, sometimes following rules means watching people die when you could save them. Tom doesn't know how to respond. Antagonist becoming ally. Enemy becoming partner. Ashford extends hand. I'm going to help you improve this formula. Document it properly. Teach it to every medic who needs it. Tom shakes hand. Sir, you'll be court-martialed. Then they can court-martial us both. But first we have work to do. They spend Christmas morning refining the formula. Ashford applies Harvard training. Tom applies field experience. Together they create something better than either could alone. By afternoon, they have one-page instruction sheet. Ingredients, measurements, step-by-step mixing, dosing chart, warning signs, documentation requirements, field expedient blood substitute, emergency protocol. Not official, not approved, but reproducible, teachable, life-saving. By evening, 6 more aid stations have the protocol, copied by hand, distributed through whispers, the underground network growing. Tom's innovation spreading, quietly, unofficially, through medics choosing conscience over career. And in a German office 15 kilometers south, Oberst Werner seals his report to Berlin, never knowing he documented something that will save hundreds, but remain forever invisible. The Ghost Protocol, born in defiance, living in shadows, saving lives one unauthorized dose at a time. January 3, 1945, near Houffalize, Belgium. The war has moved forward. Bastogne is no longer surrounded. Patton's Third Army broke through on December 26th. Supply lines reopened. Real blood arrived. Plasma. Whole units. But Tom's unit pushed east with the advance. Operating from a new aid station in a bombed-out farmhouse. Walls half collapsed. Roof open to January sky. Snow drifts through gaps in the structure. Tom still carries the metal jug. Still mixes batches when supplies run low. Still saves lives with something that officially doesn't exist. Running count in his notebook, 126 patients treated. 78 survived. 48 died. Most from wounds too severe. 4 possibly from complications related to the treatment itself. The numbers haunt him. 78 alive who shouldn't be, but 4 dead who might have lived if he'd done nothing. The mathematics of conscience. Addition and subtraction with human lives. 1,800 hours. German counterattack hits their position. Artillery. Small arms fire. Chaos returning. Casualties arrive. Among them, Lieutenant James Cartwright, 24 years old, missing right arm from 88mm shell, severe hemorrhagic shock, lost at least 60% blood volume. Tom checks supplies, low on everything, low on hemoglobin powder, low on time. Cartwright is critical, beyond critical. The kind of wounds that require immediate transfusion or death certificate. Tom begins mixing substitute, but they're rushed. German fire getting closer. Wounded keep arriving. No time for proper procedure. Delacroix assists. Tom, should we filter this again? Tom looks at the solution. Cloudier than usual. More protein debris. Should run it through gauze 2 more times. 3 is standard. This is 1. But Cartwright is crashing. Pulse 160. Blood pressure 50/30. Minutes from death. No time. He's dying now. Tom, the protocol says 3 passes. I know what it says. Tom fills pressure bag. Inserts IV. Opens line. The cloudy substitute flows into Cartwright's vein. Hope mixed with prayer, mixed with inadequate filtration. 18-17 hours. 2 minutes after infusion starts. Cartwright's body goes rigid. Back arches. Muscles lock. Seizure. Tom's stomach drops. Stop the line. Delacroix clamps a fou. Too late. 100 milliliters already infused. Cartwright convulses. Eyes roll back. Foam at mouth. Classic signs of severe reaction. Protein toxicity. Immune system attacking foreign hemoglobin. The nightmare Tom always feared. Get me anticonvulsants. Jenkins runs. Returns with medication. Tom administers. Waits. Prays. 1825. 8 minutes. Seizure stops. But Cartwright unresponsive. Pupils fixed. Dilated. Not reacting to light. Tom checks pulse. Thready. Weak. Dropping. Come on, Cartwright. Stay with me. But Cartwright's pulse keeps falling. 100, 80, 60, 40. Tom starts chest compressions. Counting. Pushing. Forcing blood through a system shutting down. Delacroix does rescue breathing. 2 breaths. Compressions. 2 breaths. Compressions. They work for 20 minutes. Following protocol. Following training. Following hope that stopped working. 18-47 hours. Cartwright's heart stops. Doesn't restart. Time of death, 1847. 'Cause likely protein toxicity from inadequately filtered hemoglobin causing massive immune reaction. Tom sits back, hands covered in Cartwright's blood, staring at those hands. The same hands that saved 78. The same hands that just killed 1. Major Ashford appears, examines Cartwright's body, then the leftover substitute in the pressure bag, holds it to light, sees the cloudiness. This wasn't filtered enough. Tom's voice hollow. I know. Why not? We didn't have time. There's always time to do it right, Private. Tom doesn't respond, just sits, staring at hands that commit murder trying to save lives. Ashford places hand on Tom's shoulder. Get some air. I need to document this. Document it later. Get some air. Tom stands, walks outside. Temperature 10 degrees. Snow falling. He doesn't feel it. Doesn't feel anything except the weight of Lieutenant James Cartwright. 24 years old. Dead because Tom rushed. Dead because Tom thought speed mattered more than procedure. That night, Tom sits in snow until 0200 hours. Delacroix finds him. Still sitting. Still staring at hands. Tom, you'll freeze. Tom doesn't respond. This isn't your fault. I didn't filter it properly. You were trying to save him, and I killed him instead. Delacroix sits beside him. Long silence. Just 2 men and snow and the sound of distant artillery. You've saved 78 others. That doesn't bring Cartwright back. Tom opens his notebook, writes by moonlight. January 3rd, 1945. Patient Lieutenant Cartwright J. administered Type R inadequate filtration. Patient expired 1847 hours. Caused probable protein toxicity secondary to insufficient filtration. Note, this is my fault. He updates running total. Total treated 126. Survived 78. Died 48. Then, a new category. Deaths possibly caused by treatment 4. He stares at that number. 4 people who might be alive if he'd done nothing. 4 lives lost trying to save others. 4 names he'll carry forever. But the other number haunts him differently. Without the substitute, estimated deaths 90, with substitute 48. Net lives saved approximately 42. Is saving 42 worth losing 4 to complications? The math says yes. But math doesn't explain to Cartwright's mother why her son died from the cure instead of the wound. Tom doesn't know the answer. Doesn't think there is an answer. Just the weight of decisions made under fire with inadequate information and consequences that last forever. February 8, 1945, 3rd Army Medical Corps Headquarters, rear area, away from front lines, where regulations still matter. Tom and Ashford stand at attention, clean uniforms, polished boots, the veneer of military order covering the chaos they left behind. Present Colonel Howard Pierce, Chief Medical Officer, 53 years old, career military, seen 3 wars, 2 lieutenant colonels, 1 captain from Judge Advocate General's office, legal representation. The smell of court-martial in air. Colonel Pierce reads charges formally, voice flat, bureaucratic, each word a nail in coffin. Private First Class Thomas Brennan and Major Victor Ashford are accused of unauthorized human experimentation, use of non-approved medical substances, violation of medical ethics protocols, failure to obtain proper consent from patients, endangering lives through unapproved treatments. He looks up. Gentlemen, do you understand the severity of these charges? Both respond together. Yes, sir. Private Brennan, you created and administered an unapproved blood substitute to 126 patients without authorization. Yes, sir. Major Ashford, you aided in this effort despite knowing it violated regulations. Yes, sir. You both understand this could result in court-martial, dishonorable discharge, potential criminal charges. Yes, sir. Long silence. The sound of careers ending, lives changing, history being written by men who weren't there. Pierce opens folder. Tom's complete documentation inside. Every patient, every dose, every outcome, including failures, including Cartwright. I've reviewed your records private, meticulous documentation, every patient, every dose, every outcome, including the failures. He flips to page showing Cartwright's death, studies it. You didn't try to hide this. No, sir. Lieutenant Cartwright died because I made a mistake. I take full responsibility. You also documented 3 other patients who developed complications possibly related to your treatment. Yes, sir. And yet you continued using the formula. Yes, sir. Because for every patient who had complications, 7 others survived who wouldn't have otherwise. Pierce closes folder. Silence stretches, the kind of silence that precedes verdicts. Gentlemen, what you did was illegal, dangerous, and against every regulation in the Army Medical Department. Pause. Tom's stomach drops, preparing for court-martial. Dishonorable discharge. End of everything. It also saved approximately 80 lives based on survival rate comparisons with similar casualties in units without access to your treatment. Pierce signs document, slides it across desk. No charges will be filed. This matter is closed. Tom and Ashford exchange stunned glances, unable to process, expecting condemnation, receiving absolution. However, Pierce pulls out different document. The formula will not be officially adopted, will not be added to field manuals, will not be distributed through official channels. Ashford speaks. Sir, why not? Legal liability. We cannot officially approve veterinary supplies for human use. The risk of lawsuits, medical board violations, ethical complaints. The Army cannot sanction what you did. He hands them the document. But we also will not stop medics from using it if they choose to do so unofficially. And we will not punish medics who document its use in private logs. Translation exists in gray zone. Not approved, not forbidden, just unacknowledged. Sir, that means, Tom trails off. It means what you did will save more lives? But officially, it never happened. You were never here. This conversation never occurred. Dismissed. Tom and Ashford walk out into cold February air. Free men, saved by technicality, by gray zones, by an army that can't acknowledge what works, but won't stop it either. What now? Ashford asks. Tom looks at his notebook, at names of 78 people alive because regulations bent. Now we make sure others know how to do it right. Over the next 3 months, the formula spreads through informal networks, medic to medic, copied by hand on any available paper, ration box panels, torn notebook pages, back of supply manifests. Nicknames emerge: Brennan's Red, the Bastogne mix, Type R, the Ghost Protocol. No official documentation, no training manuals, just whispered instructions and desperate hope passed between men who refuse to watch more die while following rules. By April, an estimated 8 to 12 aid stations use adapted versions. By May, possibly 20 more heard about it. Total patients treated across all units estimated 300 to 500. Additional lives saved estimated 80 to 100. But no one keeps central records. No one reports to command. It exists in shadows, a ghost haunting the statistics. May 8th, 1945. Germany surrenders. War in Europe ends. Tom returns to United States. June 1945. No medals, no ceremonies. Just discharge papers and a bus ticket to Pittsburgh. He applies Presbyterian Hospital, shows field experience, documentation, everything he learned saving lives in frozen cellars. Interview with hospital administrator, middle-aged man, clean office, no blood, no dying soldiers. Different world. You have impressive field experience, Mr. Brennan. Thank you, sir. But I don't see a medical degree. I don't have one, sir. I learned in the field. We require formal credentials for all positions. I'm sorry. Rejected. The man who saved 78 lives can't get hired because he lacks paperwork proving he knows how. Tom becomes postal worker. Starting salary $42 per week. Sorting mail. Delivering letters. Quiet work. No blood. No screaming. No decisions between who lives and who dies. He marries Helen, secretary at post office, 2 children, Sarah born 1953, Michael born 1956. Normal life, suburban house, backyard, picket fence. The American dream purchased with silence about nightmares. He never talks about war. When asked, he says, "I was a medic, fixed people up. That's all." His children grow up not knowing their father changed battlefield medicine, not knowing he saved dozens with chemistry and desperation, not knowing he carries names of 4 people who died from complications. Tom finds address of Harvard Medical School Experimental Medicine Department, writes letter, includes copies of field notes, diagrams, outcomes, subject line emergency blood substitute, field tested. He mails it, waits for response. Weeks pass, months, nothing. The letter was received, filed in unsolicited correspondence folder, disposed during office movie 6 months later, lost forever. Like Tom's contribution to medical science. Meanwhile, science spends decades and billions trying to solve problem Tom solved with $3 of veterinary supplies. 1950s. Hemoglobin-based oxygen carriers developed. Laboratory research. Controlled conditions. Perfect filtration. Billions in funding. 1960s. Clinical trials begin. Complications, toxicity, kidney damage. Same problems Tom encountered and documented and learned to avoid. 1970s. More research. More money. Still no battlefield-ready solution. Korea, 1950 to 1953. Medics still using whole blood only. Tom's innovation never spread beyond European theater. Vietnam, 1965 to 1973. Same situation, same casualties, same lack of alternatives when blood unavailable. Irony modern science takes 40 years trying to create what postal worker created in one desperate night. December 25th, 1984. Tom dies. Heart failure. Age 63. Obituary in Pittsburgh. Post-Gazette, Thomas Brennan, 63, retired postal worker and U.S. Army veteran, died Thursday, survived by wife Helen, daughter Sarah Mitchell, son Michael Brennan. Services Tuesday, St. Paul's Cathedral. No mention Bastogne, no mention substitute, no mention 78 lives. Just another veteran, another ordinary man, another forgotten hero. His notebook stays in footlocker under Helen's bed. Blood-stained pages, formulas, names, evidence of something that officially never happened. National Museum of Health and Medicine, Washington, D.C., Dr. Patricia Chen, military medical historian, cataloging World War II documents during digitization project, box after box of yellowed papers, reports, requisitions, casualty lists, one box labeled Field Medical Reports, Ardennes 1944 to 1945, miscellaneous, inside Tom's notebook, 47 pages, handwritten, blood-stained, water-damaged, but readable. Dr. Chen opens it, begins reading. Within 3 pages, she realizes she's holding something extraordinary. Detailed documentation, every patient, every dose, chemical formulas, mixing instructions, dosing calculations, outcome tracking, complication notes, honest accounting including failures, final page, written in pencil, faded but legible. February 15, 1945, final entry. Total treated 126, survived 78, lost 48. This formula is not blood. Will never replace blood. But when no blood available, it buys time. That's all it was meant to do. Give them a chance. Signed PFC T. Brennan Medical Corps. Dr. Chen stares at signature. Name means nothing to her. Not famous, not decorated, not remembered. She begins investigation. Tracks down survivors through veteran registries, National Archives, unit rosters from 3rd Army Medical Corps, finds Corporal Danny Walsh, age 73, living in Ohio, retired factory worker. She calls him, explains she found documentation about emergency blood treatment, Bastogne, 1944, asks if he remembers. Walsh's voice breaks immediately. Every single day. Can you tell me what you remember, young medic? Couldn't have been more than 22. Gave me something from metal jug. I asked if it was blood. He said no. Asked what it was. He said hope. Pause. Walsh crying now. I remember his eyes, exhausted, scared, but determined, like he refused to let me die even though everything said I should. His name was Thomas Brennan. Long silence. I never knew his name. 50 years. I wanted to thank him. I have 3 children, 7 grandchildren. They exist because of him. Another pause. Is he still alive? Can I meet him? Dr. Chen's heart breaks. I'm sorry, Mr. Walsh. He died in 1984. Walsh sits silent. Then, he saved my life, and I never got to say thank you. Dr. Chen interviews 7 other survivors. All tell similar stories. Young medic, metal jug, red liquid, survival against odds. None knew his name. All wanted to thank him. All too late. She publishes paper in Military Medical Journal. Field Expedient Hemoglobin Solutions in World War II, the untold story of Private Thomas Brennan. Readership approximately 200 military medical historians. Small impact. Academic circles only. Tom's story remains mostly forgotten. Known only to specialists. not taught in medical schools, not mentioned in textbooks. Just another ghost in history's margins. Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. Specialist Rodriguez, 23. Taking Advanced Combat Casualty Care Course. Instructor Colonel Matthews. Teaching History of Battlefield Medicine. World War II survival rate, severe hemorrhage, 45%. Today, over 80%. How did we get here? Next slide. Evolution of blood substitutes. Modern hemoglobin carriers took 40 years and billions to develop, but someone did it earlier. 1944. Bastogne. Shows photo of Tom's notebook. 22-year-old medic, no degree, created emergency blood substitute using veterinary supplies. Saved approximately 78 lives. Rodriguez raises hand. Did he get Medal of Honor? No, nothing. Became postal worker. Died 1984. Most never knew his name. That's not fair. No, it's not. But his formula worked on same principle we use today. He figured it out with coffee strainer and mess kit. Pause. War doesn't reward those who follow orders. Sometimes rewards those who understand when rules matter less than lives. His name, Thomas Brennan. Remember it. Army forgot. But 78 men who lived did. Specialist Rodriguez visits museum after class. Finds Tom's notebook and display case, reads final page, stands 20 minutes, silent, thinking. Takes photo with phone. Posts to Instagram. This is PFC Thomas Brennan. 1944 made fake blood from vet supplies. Saved 78 lives. Army never thanked him. Became postal worker. Changed battlefield medicine forever. Remember his name. Post goes viral. 2.4 million views. 3 days. Comments flood in. Veterans. Medics. Descendants of survivors. Top comment from Danny Walsh Jr. My grandfather was Brennan's first patient. I exist because this man refused orders that would have let my grandfather die. Thank you. History remembers generals, soldiers who charged beaches, pilots who shot down aces. But sometimes person who changes everything is postal worker with mess kit metal jug and audacity to say, either we try this or we bury him. 78 men lived who should have died. Not because of orders, not because of regulations, but because one 22-year-old refused to accept that no blood available meant let them die. That's the lesson. Not that rules don't matter, but that sometimes lives matter more. Tom Brennan, private first class, postal worker, forgotten hero. His name deserves remembering.